Hello and welcome. If you're new here, my name is Claudia, and today we're going to make the most incredible Portuguese orange olive oil cake. It's fluffy, it's soft with a tender crust. We're going to use 4 oranges, so it's going to be bursting with that orange flavor. This everyday orange cake, which is easy to make, only gets better with time. For the ingredients, we're going to need oranges, 4 oranges, 5 eggs, some good quality olive oil, sugar, whole-purpose flour or all-purpose flour, and some baking powder and salt. So let's get into it. Vamos cozinhar. First, we're going to start off by turning on our oven. We're going to preheat to 350, so I'm going to do that now. So it's preheating with the shelf in the middle. Next, let's zest our oranges and juice them. We're going to need 1 1/4 cups or 300 ml of orange juice. If the 4 oranges isn't enough, like if they're too small, then you might have to juice an extra orange. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. First, I'm going to zest them, and we're going to zest 2 oranges. You want to make sure you don't get the white part. Now let's juice our 4 lemons. And we're looking for 1 1/4 cups of. I am using Cara oranges, but you can also use navel oranges, and I'm just using my hand old-fashioned juicer. So we juiced our oranges, and I ended up having to use 5 oranges because my oranges were small. I also have the zest of 2 oranges. As always, I'm going to list the ingredients in the description below. Okay, next we're going to start with our eggs and sugar. And for that, we're going to need either a stand mixer or a handheld mixer. It's just going to make things go a lot faster. If you want, you can do it by hand, but I recommend using either a stand or a handheld mixer. Okay, so we're going to need our paddle attachment, and we're going to separate our egg whites from our yolks, and we're going to start with our yolks. So our yolks are going to go in here, and I'm going to put our egg whites in here. So, and we're using 5 eggs. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we're going to mix or beat our egg yolks just for a little bit, just to break them up a bit. And now we're gonna add our sugar. So after like 30 seconds to a minute, we're gonna add our sugar. And we're gonna add our orange zest. And we're gonna let that go for about 5 minutes until it's light and fluffy. Just at medium speed. So what you're looking for is that it's doubled in volume and it has turned almost white. After 5 minutes, you should be at this consistency. Okay, so now we have our flour, and here I have baking powder and salt, and I'm gonna mix the flour, I'm gonna mix the salt and the baking powder into the flour. And let me get a whisk. Just gonna whisk this up, make sure it's all incorporated. There we have it. We also have our orange juice and our olive oil, and I'm gonna mix those 2 together as well. So now we're gonna alternate between flour and olive oil, starting and ending with the flour, and it should take us about 3 times to do that. So let's get started, and you just have it on stir function, so just slowly we'll add our ingredients in. So alternating between flour, we start with flour first, and then slowly drizzle in the olive oil and orange juice. And when it's incorporated, you start adding the flour in. So once you added in your last bit of flour, that is it. We're gonna turn it off. You never wanna overmix a cake after you add in the flour, because that starts to develop the gluten, and that's what's going to make a cake chewy, and you don't want that. You want a cake to be nice and fluffy. So now we need to beat our egg whites, and for that I'm gonna transfer this into another bowl because I don't have another stand mixer bowl. So we're gonna I'm gonna transfer it into here, and then I'm gonna whisk the egg whites in this bowl with a whisk attachment. So let's do that now. Okay, so I have the stand mixer attached with the whisk attachment, and I have my egg whites are going into the bowl, and now we're going to whisk them up to form stiff peaks. Okay, we're done. Let's take it out and do the test. Yep, we're done. Yep. Okay, so now we're gonna fold in our egg whites into our batter very gently. And you just wanna fold it in very gently so you don't deflate the egg whites. So gently fold them in, like so. We want to make sure that they're all incorporated, so when we cut into the cake, we don't get these white sections. But we just still want to be gentle with it. So I've gone ahead and buttered and floured a 12-cup bundt cake pan. And now I'm going to put our cake batter in. So now we're going to put the cake in the oven for 35 to 40 minutes, and then we're going to check it. After 45 minutes, our cake is done. Look how beautiful it is, nice golden color. I checked the internal temperature with my thermometer, and it was at 210. That's what you're looking for. You can also use just the toothpick test like our grandmas used to do. So now comes the difficult part. We have to let it cool completely before we cut into it. Now at my grandma's house, that usually didn't take very long because the smell of this cake is just incredible. But I suggest you wait about an hour before you cut into it. So I'll see you back here in an hour. I'm actually going to transfer the cake to a plate. I'm just using a regular plate. You could use a fancy cake plate, and it should be fairly easy to come out. If you buttered it and then floured it, it should just pop out. So this is Moment of truth. And I heard it come out. So let's take it out. Oh, just beautiful. And smells delicious. So now we're gonna let it cool for about an hour. So it's been an hour, our cake is cool and we're ready to have it. So if you want to, you can dust it with some icing sugar if you're like taking it to a tea or having guests coming over. For every day, I just leave it plain. That's how we have it at home. We just eat it like this. And the cake usually, you can have it 3 to 4 days. We'll just let it sit on the counter in a cake dome. But it usually doesn't last that long. So let's cut in and see what the crumb is like. Very soft, it slices right through. And I use that. Look at that. Look at how fluffy it is. Perfect. So now let's have a taste of our Portuguese orange olive oil cake that we grew up with our grandmas making. So let's go. It is a perfect cake. Nice and fluffy and not too sweet, which is what I like. I don't like super sweet cakes. Actually, none of us here at home do. So this is perfect. As an after-school snack for the kids. I remember when we were with my grandma, she always used to make this cake and we would come home and the cake would be waiting for us. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching and I'll see you again soon.